You'll see a map there with states, and you'll be able to click on them. And soon you'll be able to see your country on there as well. You'll be able to click on them and see all the stories that we've been doing. But the best way to follow us is on Facebook and on YouTube and on Periscope. If you go to Facebook, the page is called We Are Vaxxed, and we go live every day. We're live right now. And if you go on Periscope, the screen name is Team Vaxxed. They're live as well. And they go with us everywhere we go. We don't filter too much out. Sometimes we have to, but you will see real news. You won't actually, we don't filter what people are saying. So you'll get to see that there. And then YouTube is Vaxxed TV. You'll get to see all our stories, all the specials that we do with the doctors. You'll get real news there. So once again, stop watching the news. They're not telling you what you need to know.
The main reason, just before you go, sorry, I know you want to go, sorry, the main reason why we want you to join that is because these people on there will have your back. So if social services or CPS, you've got thousands and thousands of people there that will write in, support you. If you take down your health minister, they will support you too. So join. We have to unite and we have to join. Power in the people. Sorry.
Hi, how's it going? I'm just wondering on your travels there, like, are you noticing any cultural change with young doctors and their attitudes for asking questions in relation to CDC? I just know from my experience for nearly a year and a half that we banged on every door and got very, very little answers. And it was only from our own kind of discovery in relation to the HPV that we found connections and answers. But I'm just wondering, is there anything like a cultural change with young doctors coming up that they are questioning? No.
Is there a cultural change amongst young doctors? Are you noticing a cultural change?
There is a cultural change. They're becoming more narrow-minded and more biased. And what I find is it's the older doctors that have either retired or are near retirement and their finances are all taken care of, that somehow magically their minds are able to open. And they read my book, Dissolving Illusions, and many of them write to me and say, thank you for doing that. I had no idea that that was the history and how bad things were. The younger doctors today, I sat in an audience with Richard Pan, Paul Offit, and several other doctors at New York University when we went there this winter. And I sat there watching the systematic brainwashing of doctors, young doctors, and they just sit there eating their free lunches, shaking their heads and clapping and thinking that those people on the stage that are lying through their teeth are gods. And those people say to them, those vaxxed people, they're out there, don't even look at them. That movie's trash. And they all believe it. They don't even want to go there. They're told that vaccines are safe, vaccines are effective, unvaccinated children are contaminated, dirty, reservoirs of disease, and they're going to create bonfires in society, and these idiots believe it.
And they swear on cameraman too.
They do. They say very bad things. Language is terrible.
Our next question.
The only other doctors I've come across in Ireland are doctors who have sons or daughters with autism, and then it hits them.
Or HPV vaccine injury or some other vaccine injury besides autism, I have seen that.
Oh, like Dr. Fan, not Pan, Fan, they have really good hearts and they want to do the right thing. Okay, your question, sorry.
Thank you.
Hi, I have a daughter who's been injured by Gardasil.
We can't hear you.
She's got a daughter injured by Gardasil.
Gardasil, Aoife her name is, and I have two young boys as well. She's just turned 18 and I have two young boys, 3 and 10 weeks old. And unfortunately Aoife can't really interact with them anymore because she's so ill. But I just wanted to say that if she had been in a doctor's situation where she went to she got her injections at the doctor's, he would have seen after the first vaccine that she had a reaction. When I brought her to the doctor 3 days after the first vaccine, he didn't know anything about the HPV vaccine. He never received any information from the HSC about the vaccine, so wasn't aware of what to look for. So he sent her home in a viral, said it was viral, and 3 weeks later she slowly recovered. But then she got the second one, and that's when I feel it was a bang of regression. But I'm just wondering, have all these years that we've had terrible trouble trying to get her better, have you seen any methods that can help her get better?
Have you seen any methods that can help the Gardasil injured?
Yeah, we do. I mean, look, that's why we're asking you to join this social media of ours. There are people watching right now that do. Yes, we have a lot of Gardasil HPV stories that are horrific. That's the ones that survive. They're horrific, but there are, these girls and boys are having some success, and so you need to get with those parents. And there's not one doctor I would personally recommend. Go to the parents. They're going to put you in contact with the right people. So get on the social media, and they're there right now, and they will help you.
The other night we had the pleasure of having Frida Burrell on stage with us today. She's a Scottish lady, so please find her. They have created an organization called the UK something of HPV vaccine injured children, and you need to get in touch with that organization. And there's another Facebook group that's a very long name. It's something akin to parents of girls and boys injured by HPV vaccines, and people share all kinds of ideas on that Facebook site. So you need to network and know that it's very difficult, but some people have had progress over time doing different things.
Don't just stay in your country, go worldwide.
And I would just say very quickly, my son's 39, profoundly disabled, epileptic, autistic, etc., with terrible gut problems. But over 39 years, we've refined and we've refined and we've refined his diet, things like that. We almost lost him a couple of times. But he now, 2 years ago, began to communicate. His health is better than it's ever been. His good health would be your bad health. But for him, he's so improved. And he's ketogenic, he's, vegetables, no grains. There are a lot of things you can do.
We're almost done with the Q&A section. There's one more lady here. We'll take your question in just a moment. Is that okay? Just on the point that was raised there, we had 2 more people with questions, but as it turns out, the other person has the same question as the last lady's question. And what our panel is saying is contact one another. Don't walk out the door without getting names. Find out what group you can join on Facebook. Get in touch with people and say, okay, I want to talk to Polly Tommy. I guarantee you can talk to Polly Tommy if you talk to somebody else first. If you want to talk to somebody, contact somebody else. Make contact with each other here, and it'll start here in the room, I think it's fair to say, but it expands so quickly. I'm not a testament to that, but my wife is. She's in contact with absolutely every member of the Vaxxed team all the time by asking and asking and asking and asking. And that's what I think is important for you. Keep asking the questions. There's plenty of answers out there. Sorry for dominating the microphone. And our last question is coming from this lady here.
Serious about the truth about Vaxxed. It was amazing as well. Please pass on our gratitude to Tivoli for that as well. So when we have a chance. So my question is, you know that the advocates of vaccination, benefits, and in particular the herd immunity, theory. What they always tell you that there are dangerous situations that, for example, as an unvaccinated mom against things like, I don't remember if it's rubella, that's particularly dangerous for a pregnant woman. If she has, for example, a kid who's going to the crash or the school and brings back this particular infection and infects his mom who's pregnant, his or her. So what are actually the means of protecting ourselves from these kind of situations and the virus being shed from people who had been vaccinated just before, kids who were vaccinated, our kids who will play with them and so on. What are the good methods to protect ourselves? Are they homeoprophylaxis or something like that?
Yeah, this is definitely one for Suzanne, but I just say you're doing the right thing. Unvaccinated children, you're way step ahead of our kids with our vaccinations. So that and good food, my recommendation. What about you?
Well, just remember that we live in a broth of microbes all the time, and that microbes are part of your immune system. And those microbes are the ones that need to be cultivated. So when I take on a patient, there are 2 things they have to be willing to do. One is learn to do their own fermenting, preferably of vegetables. And 2 is learn how to use vitamin C and the proper type of vitamin C. Because in my opinion, that's taking care of 2 really important aspects of immunity, is to keep the microbiome